你也许会改变你的一生。哎，真的嘞，有时候一场演讲会改变我们的一生啊。所以拉起你的耳朵，好好的仔细听。那么在开始请他们演讲之前呢，同学有没有什么问题要问他们的？有吗？有什么事情你们觉得很好奇要问他们的吗？好，如果没有，听完演讲，也许你就有问题要问他们了。那我们可以开始请他们开始演讲了吗？对，老师还要问你一件事情。以前呢，你们来上西老师的课程的时候，你们身份是什么？嘉义大学学生来上这门课程。可是你们今天是代表中华民国的学生来上这门课程，因为你们的表现呢，在他们印象里面回去，哦，台湾的学生就是怎么样，哎，就是你们啊，所以说。等一下有问哦，对了，你们如果等一下不好意思问问题的话，你们可以写一张纸条，我就坐在那里，你们可以传给我，我可以帮你们问，好，或者你们自己问都可以，好，那我们现在就是用热情的掌声来欢迎他们两个的故事讲讲故事。
你好，我们是波兰人。But today we will speak English. I hope that it will be okay for you. We will try to speak not so fast so you can understand us. And
so our name, my name is Magda, and this is Lucas.
My name is Lucas.
So we will share with you today our one-year travel through Asia, so your continent. If you have any questions, please ask us. You can do it immediately or after the presentation.
If you have some questions, you can just put up your hand and ask us about the presentation, about something what is interesting for you. Wait. Before we start, I would like to ask you if you are all from Taiwan, or do we have here in the classroom someone from different country? Where do you come from? Sorry? Japan, okay. Yes? Hong Kong? Malaysia, okay. So we'll be talking about Malaysia. So
We already talked about Japan as well.
oh, yeah, we'll be talking about Japan, about Malaysia. So if there will be something which is not very true, you can say that, okay? I think that is not true or something like that.
If you would like to add something.
Yeah. Or if you would like to add something about your country, when you will be talking about Malaysia, you can just say anything, okay?
Somebody else from different countries.
So Japan, Hong Kong, Malaysia, yes? And last question before we start our presentation. Have you ever been somewhere outside Taiwan? I understand that you have been in Malaysia, Japan, and Hong Kong. But have you ever been in some different countries here? In Southeast Asia or in Asia?
Japan and United States.
Japan, United States, okay. What else? Fiji?
Yeah, Fiji.
Whoa, amazing. Okay. Someone else? China. Okay.
Cambodia and Vietnam.
Oh, Cambodia, Vietnam. Nice. So we'll talk about Cambodia, Vietnam. And Laos. Okay. We'll talk about Laos also. Okay. So that's all. So I think that we can start. So
if any of you would like to add something, some information, just feel
Yeah.
free to.
And is it okay that I will speak without microphone? Can you hear me? Because I think that I'm also a teacher, so I have a really strong voice. So I think that you can hear me without problems. And okay, we can start. And okay, the next 3 weeks we will have classes with you. Today we will have class with Magda, but next week and second week from here, I will have only class with you, and we will talk generally about traveling, about some differences between different countries.
Okay, so we started our travel last year, in September last year. We left our country without knowing when we will be back. We didn't plan it, our travel, we didn't do a lot of planning. We just bought 1 week ticket for next time because that was the cheapest ticket we found to Asia, and then we just got Chinese visa. That was
Yeah. This is like some very basic map. So we are from here, we are from Poland, Europe. And here you can see countries we have visited in our travel, during this travel, during this year.
And all those countries are the countries we visited before.
We have been before. Okay. So our first country or our first two countries we have visited. They are Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about two of them the one way because Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan they are very similar to each other. Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan they are post-Soviet countries formed in 1991. So after the big Soviet country that was destroyed, and people speak there Russian. So Russian is completely different from English, from any other language.
However, it was easier for us to communicate with them because we speak Polish, and Polish and Russian are the same family. We use different alphabets, so they use Cyrillic, which we don't. We use the English alphabet. However, when speaking, we can understand around 30%.
It was for us. It was very easy to communicate with the
They
with
don't
the
speak
people there.
English.
Yeah, it's hard to speak English in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. But we will show you some
Yeah,
presentation
so
about it.
some basic Russian
Yeah.
is removed. So we will go to Kazakhstan, which is, as we wrote, this endless steppe, and Kyrgyzstan is kind of opposite, it's just mountains.
Yeah. Kyrgyzstan is a very small country with a lot of mountains.
That's the alphabet.
So this is a Cyrillic. This is a Cyrillic. It's a very complicated alphabet. It's very hard to understand, but it's not as complicated as Chinese.
Okay. So, that was our main thing which we saw in Kazakhstan. It's the second biggest canyon in the world.
Maybe Kazakhstan is not so famous when we are talking about traveling, but Kazakhstan is also very beautiful. And not only because of the people, not only because that the people they are very different from here from Asia, but also because of the landscapes. You can find in Kazakhstan a lot of beautiful landscapes. There's a lot of steppes everywhere. So you can see only fields, only grass everywhere. And in some places like this, you can see really amazing places, which are not as crowded as many popular places. I'm sure that the biggest canyon in the world, you know where is it? The biggest canyon, or the most popular canyon. This is in Colorado, yes? The Colorado Canyon. And there is so many people that sometimes it's very crowded. So here the Shaolin Canyon, it's not so crowded, it's a very abandoned place. So during one day walking, you can almost meet there no one. And the place is very beautiful.
Is the capital?
No, this is not capital, this is the old capital, but generally Kazakhstan in the southern part is also there's a lot of high mountains everywhere, so you can see something less. There's a city, and you can see high mountains everywhere. Okay.
That's some
Also some mountains.
And both of those countries, they have lots of wild horses. People use them as a way of transportation, so all men are able to ride a horse. But as well, you see your meat to eat and milk as well. We'll talk later about
Wait. So in Kazakhstan you can find places like this which are very flat and with grass. So we call them steppes. So we can find steppes almost everywhere, and there's so many wild horses that it's incredible. And not only wild horses, but the second popular animal in those two countries are sheep. So people they are eating their meats. People are using their wool for clothes because Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan during winter time they are very cold countries. It's really freezing cold right there.
And they are pretty poor countries.
They are pretty cool countries.
Most of the countries kind of countryside. That's the toilet you can see behind. They have this kind of toilet in home, like outside of home, but
Yeah.
outside of school.
This is very normal that they have their toilets outside their house. So if you want to use toilet, if you want to know what to do, you need to go outside.
Even if it's winter.
Even if it's winter and there's a lot of snow, you need to go outside. So, and this one
It's a shower.
is a shower. This is some typical shower in some rural areas. So you need to put some water somewhere here, and you can take shower outside, and you have amazing view. And when talking about these two countries, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, they are mostly Islamic country, they are mostly Muslim country, but they are also Catholic country. But that Catholic religion, they are mainly Orthodox Catholic. So this is not the regular Catholic religion that we know here in Asia. They are Orthodox Catholic, so they have different kind of cross. They have cross like this. The Orthodox Catholic they have cross like this, and this is very how to say. When you are thinking about Orthodox Catholics, you are thinking about buildings like that. So when you see somewhere building like that with a lot of colors on the roof and very beautiful, it will be for sure the Catholic Orthodox Church.
Does it look like people that they're using horse milk? So mare's milk is a horse female. And so they fermented first, and then it became sour, a little bit sparkling, and with some low percentage of alcohol, which is a natural process.
And that
It's
milk
very specific taste.
it's very specific taste, and that milk has a lot of fat inside. So they are drinking that milk not only because it's easy to get it, but also because that milk is very fat. There's a lot of fat inside. So Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, they are during most of the year, they are very the weather is very cold right there. So they are eating and they are drinking a lot of food and a lot of drinks with fat inside. So they can protect themselves. They can be a little more bigger, a little more fatter. So it's easier for them to survive in that cold climate.
Okay. The local cuisine consists mainly of bread and meat. We can see there many vegetables. They usually eat mutton, which is sheep meat. And they, because it's cold, they usually make it with a soup. So like most of their dishes is a soup. They drink to every meal. They drink hot black tea with milk or jam.
This is a typical breakfast somewhere in the rural area.
They would actually
in
eat just
Kazakhstan.
bread and butter, but only because of us we also cheese.
So most of the time they're eating only the bread and butter.
Yeah.
Here's butter because they're not very.
It's poor
They are poor countries. So bread and butter, they can do bread by themselves, they can do butter by themselves. So they're eating only that, and they are drinking a lot of tea with milk, and they are drinking a lot of tea with sugar with jam.
And we eat a lot of meat.
And they are eating a lot of meat. So you can buy grilled meat almost everywhere. It's so good. Okay. And then after Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, we went to China. But we don't want to talk about the main China. We would like to focus more on Xinjiang, which is completely different from the rest of the China. And we would like to focus a little on Chinese Tibet, which is also different from the rest of the China. Because I think that the rest of the China is similar.
Very familiar.
Very familiar with Taiwan. Of course, Taiwan is much more better than China. and this country more comfortable.
I think just this will be more interesting for you because it's very different.
And of course, we are in Taiwan, so we have to say that.
So Xinjiang is actually Uyghur autonomous region. It means there are not really many Han living there. However, there are a number of ethnic groups: Uyghur, Han, Kazakhs, Tajik.
Ukrainians, Mongols, Russians. Wait. And Xinjiang is the biggest province in China. maybe Xinjiang is only a desert. People are thinking that there in Xinjiang there's only desert, nothing else. But this is not true. Xinjiang is beautiful. Obviously, yes, Xinjiang is beautiful. But because of that Xinjiang is so far away from Beijing, and that Xinjiang is so far away from the communistic party and from the whole government, it is completely different. And in Xinjiang, we were traveling there 1 year ago, and 1 year ago and 2 years ago in Xinjiang there was a lot of fights between Han people and between Uyghur people, because all of the minorities there, Uyghur people, Kazakh people, Kyrgyz people, Mongols, they want to make Xinjiang a separate country. But of course, Chinese government doesn't want to do it.
However, it makes sense for them to be separate countries because they have totally different culture. They look differently. They don't even. I don't even speak Chinese. Nobody speaks their Chinese. At least older people. And it's just very different from when we got there. We were like, are we in China? It doesn't seem at all.
Okay, wait, and there is one very interesting thing that. Okay, let's say that this is China. Yes, we have Beijing somewhere here, and China is so huge. It's really huge. But however, in China we have only one official time zone. So it means that the official time in Beijing, for example, is 8 a.m. So the same time in Xinjiang, which is few thousand kilometers away from Beijing, is the same official time. But in Xinjiang, 8 a.m.
It's still very dark.
It's still very dark. So in Xinjiang they are using two times. They are using the official Beijing time, which is for example 8 a.m. and they are using the unofficial time, which is 2 hours earlier. So 8 a.m. in Beijing, it's 6 a.m. in Xinjiang. And sometimes in Xinjiang people are, when they are doing some appointments, some meetings, sometimes they are using 2 times. So they are saying, okay, we will have a interview for work, and let's meet at 12 o'clock or 11 a.m. Beijing time, or 11 a.m. Local time. So sometimes they are using two times, and sometimes it's very confusing.
Well, but mostly Uyghur people they live accordingly to the local time, and then Han people, which live in the same city, they are using Beijing time.
Yeah, but Xinjiang is not only a desert, but there in Xinjiang, in southern part of Xinjiang, there are Himalayas. Himalayas, the biggest mountain in the world, so it's easy to reach really huge mountains, and the landscape is completely different. Like somewhere here, there is, I think that the 25th or 26th highest mountain in the world. Muzera.
I don't think so in the
Okay.
the one next to you.
And this is Yurt, so traditional house of Uyghur, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, and Mongols. And this is a house we can see it in Xinjiang, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia. So people in the past they were traveling from one place to another place. They were not living in one place all the time, but they were changing their place. And the youth is very easy to make it, and it's very easy But because that part of China and other countries they are very cold during winter and fall spring, they have some small oven inside, so they are making fire all the time.
And because it's small, it's easy to warm it up inside. And so you can see there are no beds, you just put some sheets on the floor.
Yeah, and people they are sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, it's very basic. And there's a personal toilet, so you just have to go outside. We did do this trip to this area. It was on the border with Pakistan, and it was truly beautiful. This is the altitude of above 3,000 meters, and then this mountain here on the left
Almost 3,000.
is
Okay, but generally Xinjiang is a desert province, so there is the second biggest sun desert in the world, Taklamakan. The Taklamakan desert in Xinjiang is as big as our country, as big as Poland. So when you are traveling through Xinjiang, or generally when you are traveling in China, the sense of travel is completely completely different than in any other countries here. For example, in China, when you are saying that, oh, I need to go to that next city, you are thinking that I need to go 500 kilometers away from here. Yeah, so here in Taiwan, 500 kilometers away, you can go to Hualien, maybe, yes? So it is very far away. And in Xinjiang,
You can go with 500
yes,
kilometers.
distances between cities are so huge that you are driving a car, you are driving a bus, you are going there, and there's only desert. There's one way and desert on the left side and on the right side with some mountains, nothing else. And sometimes you can see some huge mountains out of the desert.
And then big dunes.
And sometimes in many places you can see a lot of big dunes, so Xinjiang is really a desert province, right? Okay, and this is one of the biggest cities in Xinjiang, Kashgar. It's also Kashi or Kashgar is also very interesting because that city is not as typical Chinese city because the city is mostly Arabic city, Islamic city. So you can see more Arabic things than real Chinese things. So everywhere in the city there is a lot of Arabic buildings. So you can see the Arab culture almost everywhere. And because of that, because of the variety, because of the connection of Arab culture and Chinese culture, the city is so amazing, so interesting. It's very interesting.
However, Chinese people
Yeah.
are trying to make this look more Chinese.
Yeah. And Chinese people, Chinese government, at the first big city there in Xinjiang, they put the monument of Mao Zedong. So they want to say that this is our country, this is our province, you need to be very quiet and you need to be part of China. And once you get to Kashgar, you will see the huge monument of Mao Zedong.
About some animals, they have really nice animals like yak. They are very important for the local people as they are source of meat and milk. They produce as well kind of butter from it, which is very salty. And then they add this butter to the tea, so they drink salty, very
Salty,
fatty
fatty
tea,
tea.
which is very important for them because it warms them up and gives them energy in this cold climate. It tastes really strange, but it is good. So it is good.
And the second very popular animal is there are wild camels. They are almost everywhere. Okay, and this is the country, one of the biggest city there, and it's very interesting.
Because now it's ruled by Chinese, but before it was ruled by Tibetan and then Persian, Turkey, and Mongol.
So the city is a mix of all of the different cultures.
And the easiest way to see it is just by the food.
And there's also one thing that people who are living there, the Han people, they can speak Chinese, of course, yes. But the Uyghur people and people from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, the other minorities, sometimes they can speak Chinese in some basic way. But they are speaking their own language, they are speaking their Arab language. And for example, they cannot read Chinese. They cannot speak with Han people. So Han people, they are doing businesses. They are living. They are cooperating with only Han people, and other minorities. They are living. They are speaking. They are cooperating only with them. So they are really separated from each other.
So about cuisine, it's a lot of meat. Again,
Yeah, there's a lot of meat.
they eat lamb, mutton, meat.
And as you, I don't know that the picture is quite sharp, but as you can see, they are a little different.
Yeah, I think
Okay, but the people, this is the head of the ship. But the people there, they look a little different from the real hand.
And you can see this is the picture, I don't know if you can see this is the head of the sheep.
Yeah.
They eat all the parts. Like as well legs of the sheep. And then here you are eating mostly rice as well, like this is mainland China. But in that province they eat as well as potatoes and bread.
Potato.
And that's the bread. It's really typical
So this is
Uyghur.
not only the think that Arabic.
We have similar Kazakhstan.
Okay.
And,
Let's go to Chinese Tibet. Chinese Tibet. In the past, it was it was huge. Can you go back? It was a huge part of China, not only China, but it was the greater Tibet. Right now we have Tibet, Tibet province, and we have a lot of old Tibet, which is located in different provinces in China. For us, for foreign people, it's not so easy to get to the real Tibet province, to the autonomous region of Tibet. So we can travel, we can see only some part of Tibet, which is located in different provinces in China, but they are almost the same. They are the same. And when we are talking about Tibet, people who are living in the old Tibet, they are also not real Chinese people. They are Tibetan people. They have their own culture, their own language, their own habits, and everything is very different there. Like in the mainland China, it's forbidden to have religion. Officially you cannot believe in anything. But Tibetan people, they are mostly Buddhist, and religion is very important. I think that religion is one of the most important things in their lives. And you can see it, you can feel it everywhere.
we spent one day in this Tibetan village, and then each morning, early morning, and then in the evening, they wake up in the morning and then just walk around the city along
And they are praying.
So they start the day.
And also very nice thing with these people is that they look completely different from the rest of the Chinese people. They look more like people from South America, maybe from some mountains countries like Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, or something like that. So some of them they look really exotic for us, and not only for us. But let's go back to the next. No. Okay, let's go forward. And in Tibet, they have a lot of prayer wheels. So the prayer wheels, they can be small, they can be big, and somewhere there in the Chinese Tibet, there's one of the biggest praying wheel in the world. So people, they are pushing it, they are spinning they're spinning the wheels, and they are believing that when they are spinning the wheels, they are letting their prayers everywhere to the world.
So that's what they will do. They will just walk around the city along those spinning wheels and then just.
They are making them spin. Yeah. And people look completely different from the rest of the.
That's a traditional wedding. And now we will go to the rest of the China, just some interesting places we saw. You all know, of course, the famous Great Wall. We really like this place, Rainbow Rocks.
But generally, about China is so huge that it's hard to be one time in China and see everything. In every province, there's so many interesting places that you should visit. You have to visit. Yes.
We spent 2 months.
We spent 2 months in China, and
just constantly moving,
yes.
And we still.
But we avoid the big cities on the east coast. But China is so huge and it's so interesting in every kind of way. So if you really want to see the China, I think that you need to stay there for at least 2 years and constantly travel from one province to another province. But we have been in many interesting places like this, and China, we can say something about China and Taiwan. Like when you are traveling in China, China is a very interesting country. I think that Taiwan is not as interesting as China when you are Taiwan is a better place to live, but if you want to travel, if you want to see some amazing things, some amazing people, culture and everything, you need to go to China. But of course, okay. But this is our opinion, yes? Okay. But Taiwan is a better place to live. And so, because of that, we are right now with you, and we are talking about our travel. Right now we are living and staying in China.
Okay, that's just some beautiful places we saw there. New River, all those
Cars, mountains.
We did some trekking to places. That's one of the biggest Buddha statue we saw. It was 71 meters high.
But about the picture, there is one very interesting thing that in China, that officially you cannot have any religion. It's forbidden to have religion. If you want to work in government places, in administration or something like that, you cannot have any religion. But most of the people there, most of the people there are Buddhists there. But very often they are hiding their religion, they are hiding their feelings because of the government, because of the party. So this is something, for us it's something strange, something new, because we are from Poland, and Poland is a Catholic country, and it's normal, it's so obvious in Poland that we believe in something. We have a religion, and once we get to China, a country where religion is forbidden. So for us it was very, very new, very strange.
We heard it from one Chinese guy. He told us that, because there was mosque, and then we asked him, so can you go to the mosque? And he said, no, I cannot, because mosque is for the Uyghur people. And he said that there would be people in the mosque, working for the government, and they're just checking who is there. And if they find there, like a guy who is working for government, he gets, he loses his job. So that's what he said.
So there are, well,
It's forbidden.
we've got that there are some people who are checking who's going to the churches, who's going to mosque, who's believing in something, and they are saying to government party, to the communist party that you and he, they were in the mosque, they were in the church, so we need to, I don't know, we need to do something.
Okay, let's
Go. And we were talking about, I think that most interesting facts which we noticed during our travel. If you have any other experience, you can.
For us, it's very difficult to learn about Chinese culture in China because they don't speak English. In the places where we were, during those 2 months, we met less than 10 people who could say anything in English because we traveled in very rural areas. So we learned just very little about Chinese culture. That's what we saw, but we couldn't really do anything.
So we learned more about Chinese culture in Malaysia, in Taiwan. Because here it's easy to speak, to communicate with people, yes. And because of that, Taiwan is a comfortable place to live because it's easy to speak English.
Yeah, China was really, really cool for us. Anything, like even ordering food was extremely difficult for us. Or, just no way of communication. Okay. Then we were
After China, we went to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong we flew to Egypt, but Hong Kong is it's totally different. It's a huge. We spent in Hong Kong only 2 days, so I think the 2 days in Hong Kong is not enough time to see the city and everything. So we stayed only in the main part of Hong Kong, in the big city. But we know that Hong Kong is not only the city, but you can see beautiful beaches, beautiful mountains somewhere there. But it was too short for us to see everything. So we don't want to talk about Hong Kong because we spent there only 2 days. And
there's not much you can say about it.
and we think that when you want to see some different culture, when you want to understand some people, you should stay at least 3-4 weeks in some place, in some country, and after that time, you can say something about that country. Few days, it's not enough to understand the culture, to understand people. Okay,
So Philippines. That's one of the most difficult places over there.
Here's some very important thing that Philippines has many different ethnic groups. Like for us, before it was normal that when you are living in one country, all of the people in that country they are speaking the same language, and it was so obvious, yes. But in China, this is also different. That some people living in generally in Asia. There are so many minorities in every country that sometimes people from the same country they can speak different languages, and sometimes it's so hard for them to communicate with themselves. And
But it's very surprising, right? Because in Europe, every country speaks, well, most of the countries, they have the same language.
But once we were in Philippines, we heard about that almost in every small island, people there they are speaking their own language. So sometimes when people from south of Philippines meet with people with north of Philippines, they cannot communicate.
It's
So
because in schools, they are in school they speak English, and all the lessons are done in English. But their national language is Tagalog, which is just a regular subject. So they don't really use their national language. In school they speak English, at home they speak their local language, so they don't really speak their official Tagalog language. So it's normal that some people can speak their
So sometimes it's better for them to speak English than to speak in their own language. And well, Philippines for us, before we get there, we were thinking about Philippines, about only beautiful islands, beaches, sea, and everything. But Philippines, in the north part of the main island of the Luzon, we have so many amazing places. Like one place we have visited, was the sunrise terraces in Batat and Banawe. They are very old, more than 1,000. They were built more than 1,000 years ago.
But what is so special about them is that
They are in the high mountains.
they're very high mountains, but the local people they migrate by themselves with no machines, just with their hands and some tools.
And they are in some places that it's really hard to get them by car, by any kind of transportation. So you need to walk there through some mountains for many hours.
Yeah, we did there 2 days trekking with our backpacks, and it's just through the mountains, we go up and down. We went on the way some small villages, and then we were almost done. We were almost getting to the main road, and we were thinking that we are so tired. How heavy was this trekking? And then we met one family which was going from the road to their village, which was like across the mountains, so they had to go up and down. And then they were carrying everything, because their village is like behind the mountain with no road access. So to get from the village to the city, they need to cross the mountain on foot. So they were carrying, like some girl, she was carrying her mattress bed. A woman with like 3,000 bags in her head, like just regular shopping. So each of them and all the kids, they had carrying whatever they need in pounds. They had to carry it through the mountains by themselves. So
Yeah, and it was so interesting. Like in many countries, we are thinking that this is so normal that if you want to buy gojiao, just going to the shop and buying it. Yes. If you forget to buy something from 7-Eleven, from Carrefour, or from different kind of shop, okay, you can go there one more time with your scooter or by food. But there, they are organizing a trip from their village to the main city, and I think that the way takes around 5, 6, 7 hours one way. So they need to think about everything, and it's not so comfortable. So yeah, they cannot forget about I forgot to buy sugar. I need to go back.
Okay, that's another interesting place.
Another interesting place, like in somewhere there is a place that in the past people believed that when you after your death, it's better for your body, it's better for the body, and it's better for the soul if you are closer to the sky. So they were putting coffins with their bodies on some rocks. So they were believing that it's better for the dead people, for the souls, to get to the sky. And they are doing that because, well, Philippines, they are the biggest Catholic country in the world. There are most of the people, they are Catholic, and religion is very important for them.
And you can see there is a chair in here, because sometimes you cannot go straight to heaven.
Yes.
You have to wait, so that we can chair.
They are doing some crazy stuff like a chair or some small table. On sometimes they were putting some small flowers, so it's really nice place for the souls to stay there.
There are bodies inside.
For the bodies. And there are bodies inside. And
then sometimes they would put them in a cave. There's many caves. So.
but that cave, I think there was an earthquake.
Yeah.
Then, all of the coffins here, they were on some rock. But I don't know when, a few years ago, or maybe more than 10, 20 years ago, there was a big earthquake there. And in one place, a lot of the coffins, they fell. They fell on the ground because of the earthquake. So after the earthquake, a lot of people, they put the coffins in some cave. But we don't have a picture here, but in every coffin, in each coffin, there's also somebody. Not somebody, there's a body of someone. Sometimes you can see only bones, but in some coffins there are some holes sometimes, or they are.
Because of the fallen.
Yeah.
So you can see actually the bones.
So sometimes you can see the bones, sometimes you can see the body of.
What you can see here that those coffins, they are very small, right? So they're not regular. So usually when we put somebody in a coffin, we put him in a laying position. But there they believe that you should be put in the position of an embryo, because that's how you work. You are as an embryo position. So that's how you would put the dead people in the same position as they would work. And it was pretty scary place because they put it to the entrance of the huge cave, and that's where we started our trekking to the cave. So you first go to a cemetery, and in the entrance then you get to the cave. They have really big caves.
And like something interesting, like the main way of transportation in the Philippines is by some fine cars like that. So they go in jeep.
And they were originally made from U.S. Army jeeps, which were just left over the Second World War. So when the war finished, the army just left or sold those cars. Then Filipino people would put some colors and just make it look nice and using the public transportation. And now we'll show you some pictures from what's the most beautiful of this country are these beaches here in Ireland. It's really elevated and they're really beautiful. With the clean water and very warm. It's very relaxing. Lots of seafood.
And this is some picture about a few minorities in Philippines.
And the religion is a really important part for the people. Around 81% of them are Catholic, which makes them the largest Asian Catholic population.
And one funny thing about the religion for us is that in Europe, in Poland, when we are thinking about religion and everything, when we are thinking about Jesus, about Holy Mother and everything, we are thinking about them like they are very, they are not, how to say it, they're not always happy, they are very important for us, they are very, when they have some outfits, some clothes, they have some very, how to say, okay, but in Philippines, they are putting some fancy, strange, fancy clothes on the statues of Jesus or of Holy Mother. And sometimes for us, it was so strange to see, for example, Jesus with the curly long hair. And with some fancy dress like this. But for them, this is normal. This is normal because this is their tradition. But this is it was very interesting for us.
And we were there in the time just before Christmas, so you could see the Christmas decorations everywhere. The streets are like really
And during the Christmas time, during the Easter time, Philippines are totally crazy about the Christmas and Easter. All of the people, they are in some religious they are thinking about only the Christmas, about religion.
About the food, it's just a lot of coconuts. So they will use coconuts for eating and then make everything look lovely, which is really tasty. But that's the most interesting thing. I don't know if you hear about balut. It's a developing embryo. It's a bird, but it's not born yet.
Small duck.
It's in an egg still. And that's when they would boil it and eat it for dinner, and they would really like it.
And they are eating that not only because it's very cheap and you can get it almost everywhere, but they are thinking and they are believing that eating balut give them some energy. So after balut, they are more like it's like the black coffee. So here in Taiwan, you are drinking the coffee in the morning, and then if you I think that some of the people they are believing that it's better to eat balut than drink coffee.
Well, just one of our friends told us that when she has a night schedule, she has to go to work at night, she would just eat balut before, because it would help her to wake up.
And they really like it. They really like it.
Yeah. But once we opened it and then we told it, there was just a small dog.
Small dog.
Okay.
This is something new for us, but they like to do some sport, and some of the local sports for them is the fighting cocks. So they are breeding, they are practicing their cocks, and every week, every 2 weeks, they are doing some competitions. So we are putting 2 cocks in one cage or somewhere, and they are fighting. And this is very normal for them. I think that we call that this is a traditional sport, traditional local sport. Okay, so Malaysia. For us, Malaysia, it was very multicultural country with very cheap and very cheap. So we really like Malaysia.
One of our favorite countries.
Malaysia is one of our favorite countries.
Yeah, we enjoy this country.
We live in Malaysia 2 months, 1 month in Borneo and 1 month in the main peninsula of Malaysia. And like, generally Malaysia is not so hilly. Only in Borneo there is one of the highest mountain here in Southeast Asia. There is the Mount Kinabalu. But in the rest of Malaysia, in the peninsula of Malaysia, there are not so many places where you can grow tea or something like that. And there is one place, Cameron Highlands, where the climate, the weather is completely different. It's a little cooler, it's a little chilly. It's not as hot as in different places, and they are growing their tea, which is very good. And strawberries.
Okay. In Malaysia, they have one of the oldest temple in the world, which is called Taman.
If there's something wrong, you can say that. Okay.
Well, we like to play Kaisan. Because in the next presentation, we will tell you about some volunteering work which we did, and one of them was in the temple. So we had a lot of time. We spent in Easter.
But Malaysia is also a beautiful island, beaches and sea, and one very interesting thing about Malaysia, about the islands, about the seas, is that if you like to dive, you can do diving course, or you can dive there for very, very cheap. I think that it's one of the cheapest places to dive. I think in the world.
Yes,
And it's something to do.
so in Malaysia, we noticed the mix of 3 cultures, of course Malay, Malayan, Chinese, and a bit of Hindu as well. But what we really like about that country is that they have really many national holidays, and although most of them is Malay, so they are Muslim, but they don't celebrate only Muslim
country with the
High tolerance.
high with the what?
Tolerance.
With the high tolerance, because there's so many cultures there, and they have so many holidays that it's really amazing place to live. Because you have, this is some kind of traditional wooden mosque, and some Chinese temple in Malaysia, and some Hindu temple in Malaysia. So Malaysia is, for us, it was a very multicultural country with amazing people and so many different people. And people in Malaysia, they can speak really good English.
When we really liked the animals, they were really exotic for us. So we were in some orangutans, sanctuary, and that's in Borneo. And then you can see lots of animals wild. So for example, we saw that probiotic monkeys. They are monkeys with the long noses, and they are living, I think, on the Northern Island. And you can see them. So you can see wild probiotic monkeys. You can see wild orangutans and elephants. So it's really, really interesting.
And where do you came from Malaysia? Sorry. Where do you came from Malaysia? Where? Johor. Southern part, close to Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that most of the wild animals are in Borneo.
So Malaysia was the first country where we had the chance to try Korea. We don't have Koreans in Europe, so it was really interesting for us. Lucas really loves them. I don't know how about you. Do you like Koreans? Yes?
Yes.
No? So yeah, I don't like Lucas likes. And about the food, we really absolutely love the food. What is interesting there that Malay people, they don't use chopsticks or forks, they just use their hands, but only right hand.
But this is only about the Malay people, yeah? Because the Chinese people use chopsticks, yes? Here people they use also they eat also by hand. But Malay people they eat also by hand, but there's a difference between eating by hand by Malay people and eating by hand by Hindu people. They showed us that there's a different way of eating by hand. Like we thought that this is the same way of eating by hand, but it's completely different. And this is some Indian dish on the right side. But there is also very interesting thing about not only about Malaysia but about Muslim countries. Very interesting thing is that they agree with themselves. They point at something only with right hand. They are eating only with right hand. They are doing every important things only with right hand. Because they are thinking, they believe that left hand is unclean. It's not, left hand is unclean. And there's also connection with left hand and toilet. But
Because I don't know,
like in Muslim countries, in Arabic countries, in Muslim countries, they don't use the toilet paper. So they don't use toilet paper, and then they don't use use their left hand, so you can connect. It. Why they don't use the left hand?
okay, some parts of it was beautiful for us.
Okay, you can go back, but this is the same like for us. It was in some
It was interesting.
it
So for us, so I had
problem
I would always have to buy toilet paper and carry it always with me.
or some tissues.
Yeah, and then I thought it's just my problem. But then when I talked with Malay people, they say that they have other problems. When we go to Europe or to America, and then everybody uses their toilet paper, but they don't use, because in Muslim countries they always have a water, like a water on
The water pipe.
water pipe.
In the toilet, there's also some
So
water
they don't
pipe.
have toilet paper, but they have water pipes. But when they go to Europe, we don't have water pipes, we just have toilet paper. And they don't use toilet paper, they think it's terrible thing to use, they need to just use water. So we have problems to be there, but then I think it's bigger problem for them to be in our country. So yeah, it works.
So this is so interesting that not only when we are going somewhere we have some problems, but also when people from different countries go to Europe, to America, and they need to find themselves in the local cultures. It's very often it's hard for them to do the normal things. And then about generally Malaysian cuisine was one of our best, one of our favorite cuisine, and we really like the food there. And I think that one of the most popular dish there is the nasi goreng and goreng, yeah. So it's the fried rice and fried noodle, and they are it is so cheap and it's so delicious.
What's very interesting is that whenever you want to take coffee to take away, they don't use any paper cups, they just put it to the plastic bag.
Like here in Taiwan, you can buy tea almost everywhere. You can buy bubble tea or tea, and they are putting your tea with nice plastic glass, and everything is so good with that. And in Malaysia, they are selling the coffee. You can buy coffee almost everywhere. And they are selling coffee if you want to take away in the plastic bags. So it was at the beginning, it was really funny for us that you can see a lot of people with the plastic bags riding on their scooters or walking in the cities. And Indonesia generally is the biggest Muslim country in the world.
Only because they are fourth biggest nation in the world. So, and most of them consider themselves as Muslim. So it makes them the biggest Muslim country.
But Indonesia is made up from many islands.
They have 500,000 islands, and we just saw two of them.
So far we were only in the main island.
We spent one
Java and Bali.
Islands, so I don't know how many years.
But we also
Okay, so we spent quite a lot of time in Java.
and Indonesia is also a country of volcanoes. There is so many volcanoes almost everywhere. And because this is really interesting that Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country in the world, but we can see a lot of very important temples for different religions, like the Buddhist temple or the Hindu temple. You can see one of the most important temples for Buddhist religion and Hindu religion there in Indonesia.
Yeah, they have over 127 active volcanoes. In our country, we have none, zero. So we are really happy to see some volcanoes. Actually, we wanted to climb this volcano, but as you can see, it was really empty, so we couldn't even live close. But we did climb another volcano, which was even more interesting because it had this sulfur mine on top. It's a volcano. There is this lake. You can see the
On the left side.
the lake is heavily acid, and if you jump there, you just die, or some animal basically dies because it's really acid.
And
So you have here, as you can see, this is actually that. It's a
Sulfur stone.
sulfur mine.
And that volcano is very interesting because it is still active. So people still every day they are working there. They are working in very bad conditions, and they are taking the sulfur stones, sulfur rocks by themselves by hands, and they are working there. They are working there in the acid gases and acid smalls, and most of the people who are working there, because they are working in a very bad environment, they are living around up to less than 50 years. But because of that Indonesia, that part of Indonesia is very poor, and it's not so easy to earn some money. People are trying to do everything.
So it is said that they earn around $10 to $12 American per day, but they have to carry
they're
And
working
it's
every
really
day.
hard. It's really hard to breathe there, and it's just so strong. We felt the difference in breathing for the next few hours. It was totally like you could see that you can feel that there's something wrong, and the smell is so strong.
And the also interesting thing I think for us is that because Indonesia is not as rich country as many countries here, people need to work, people need to have money, and in many places you can see that people they are doing everything. So they are selling, for example, paper plates. They are selling some small toys on the streets. They are walking from car to car with bottles of water, with some fruits. They are saying that. And sometimes in big cities you can see some people who are, for example, standing close to the parking, who are standing on the roads. And for example, if you want to move your car from the parking, if you want to go somewhere, the people who are standing on the streets, they are stopping other cars, so you can move your car on the street, and they are collecting some money, only some small money, but when they are working for a whole day, they can have some money, they can buy some food, some clothes, some water for their families.
So,
Yeah, but also very interesting thing is that right now in Europe, people in Europe, they are afraid of, sorry? 1 minute. We are afraid of Muslim people because most of people in Europe they are think that all the Muslim people they are terrorists. Once you will get to some Muslim country, they will kill you. They will I don't know do bad things with you. Yes, and we spent so many times in Malaysia and Islam and in Indonesia, and the people there they are so friendly, they are so nice, so cheerful, and yeah, it's only stereotypes.
because currently we have a big invasion of Syrian people in our Europe, in our country. So people and there are many terrorist attacks in Europe. So people are really afraid of all Muslim people.
But terrorist attacks they are made only from some very small amount of people who are very, how to say, rigoristic.
It's not even really.
But generally the Muslim people they are very helpful.
So when we say our powers that we are really Muslim country, they were really afraid. And it just
Yeah, but you can see it
so
how terrorists look like.
No!
Okay, but this is like okay. Maybe no, I mean that the people there that are so friendly, so happy that it's one of the best experience. We had one of the best experience in Malaysia and Indonesia. With
So although 90% of them are Muslim, we really love this country. We felt really safe over there.
and yeah, so we
it's just on two islands
Yes.
in Indonesia. One was Java,
Java.
and the second was Bali.
and Bali is very interesting because Bali is the only island which
Just show you some view of it now. The island, it's the island, so there is beach everywhere. But they have beautiful rice terraces as well. And really nice waterfalls.
but that island Bali is very interesting because this is the only one island which is not Muslim island. So in Bali, the main religion is Hindu, and the culture people there they are completely different from people from Java, from Sumatra. They have their own religion, their own culture. Language is the same, but they look a little different. And
then once we witnessed Balinese funeral, which was really interesting for us because they were burning actually 2 bodies just in front of everybody. So we would do cremation in a special cremation place. But in a Balinese culture, they just do it on public, on a field, and
they put 2 bodies on the grass. They cover the bodies with some metal, and they were burning the bodies in front of a lot of people. And we saw one place, and there was a lot of people gathered together, and they were looking at the bodies during their.
And then we just wait until the body
Yes.
is
And you really can see the body. You can see at the beginning of the clothes, and once we get there, it was I think around 30 minutes they start the cremation, but we still could see here is but it's not very clear. We still could see the head, some bones. But for the people there, there's so no one's regular. So obvious that they are doing the public cremation.
And even saying that
Yes, and they have-
the faster the body gets cremated, the better person was.
So if
So
your
the
body,
cremation lasts for a long time and the body doesn't want to work, it means that this person was not so good.
yes.
That's what they thought.
And this is for them this is very normal.
Oh, that's at a wedding. And then we're moving on to architecture.
And then,
the rest of the country.
But Marina's architecture is completely different from every
So
architecture
you
in the
see,
world.
this is, for example, entrance to someone's house. It's not even a temple, it's just entrance to something. It's like
And most of the houses, most of the shops, stuff like that in Bali,
and
they,
at the temples, they don't
yeah, they look at that.
This is, for example, the entrance to the temple. And then lots of sculptures, very beautiful ones. And the food.
I think that Indonesian food and Malaysian food is very similar. They are very similar culture. So there's small differences in some food, but very typical for Indonesia is the satay. So it's the grilled meat in peanut sauce. And so it's very tasty.
But what is special in this country is coffee. They have, well, if you want to coffee, Luwak is one of the most expensive coffees in the world.
In many places in Indonesia, in Bali, in Java, in Sumatra, you can try the coffee luwak. So the coffee, which is made from cherries, which was eaten by cat luwak. So after
So they
have you heard about the tree?
Yeah.
So after eating, the cat is doing something, and people, and you can go to the next one, and people are collecting something with the coffee beans inside, and after that they are burning the coffee beans, and they are doing amazing coffee. The coffee is really good.
Okay, the next
And
country.
Thailand?
So maybe just to say, we'll go through our way of traveling in the next class. But we were traveling by land. As long as it was not island, we would travel by land. But when it was island, we had to
And
go
from
by
Indonesia to Thailand, we went to Singapore. But also in Singapore, we spent only 3 days, so it is not so long time to say something about Singapore. Just a really beautiful city. And Thailand. Thailand for us, I think that not only for us, Thailand is, you can divide Thailand in southern Thailand, where most of the tourists goes. So most of the tourists they go for the beautiful islands, for the beautiful beaches, and northern part of Thailand with a lot of completely different people, with a lot of minorities, the mountains, and food is completely different in northern part of Thailand and southern part of Thailand.
Okay.
So
first
where's
we'll show you
the south?
Thailand with the places. Okay, so just do them. And then the north, not much to say, guys. It's just
At the beginning, we have only some pictures about the islands, about the sea, about the beaches.
but then
They
the
are
south of
amazing.
Thailand was truly heavily touristic
Yes,
place.
but in south
So
of
many
Thailand, there are
tourists.
so many people, so many tourists that it's like a very
It's
touristy
even
place.
hard to see the real culture. Yeah, it's just,
Everything is made for tourists, just for tourists.
Yeah,
So
it
you
was
cannot see
hard.
the real local life.
yeah, we saw the local life and the local culture once we went to the north. In the south, it was pretty hard.
And northern Thailand is, you can see there are much more temples, you can see much more local habits, you can see much more regular people who are living their own lives, who are doing their religion things, who are doing some normal things. And I think not only in Thailand, but in Southeast Asia, monks, they cannot collect money from people. So, for example, in Thailand, they cannot collect money, and in Thailand, monks, they are walking early in the morning, they are walking to some villages, they are walking through some food market, and they are collecting money from the.
Not money.
They're collecting food from the people who are selling something. And they are praying for the local people. They are praying for their luck.
Instead, so you give them some food and then they the normal Thailand is pretty cool. And you can see this lady here, she's wearing a traditional clothes.
And there's one funny thing in that I'm sure that have you seen or maybe have you heard about the woman with the long neck? Yes. This is very interesting because we wanted to see the real village with the woman, but everything about the woman is fake. Because there are some villages, they are almost like human zoo. So once you get there, you are paying some money for the ticket, and you can walk in the village. And the people, the woman is there. Yeah, you can see the woman with the jewelry on her neck. But this is only for the tourists. So there's a lot of tourist buses coming there every day. They're paying a lot of money because they want to make the picture of the real woman with the long neck. But once we get to some village like that, we were there after the closing time. So we could go inside without paying any money.
And there were people at all, like
but
nobody
yes.
was there anymore.
Yeah, so-
Just they come there for the
Yeah, so this is very strange. But once we were going out of the village, we saw some people who were riding by their scooters with the long neck. But it was for us it was so strange because most of the people they are staying there. This is just their job. So every day in the morning they are going to their job. They are wearing their some necklaces on their neck, and they are working. They are working as a tourist attraction. So tourists they are making a lot of pictures there, and they are having a lot of money from tourists. And after they finish the job, they are going back home. They are putting away their necklaces, and everything is like everything there about the woman with the long neck is not so true.
We try to find
We try to find some real village with the people.
I'm sure it's still
Yeah,
there.
but it's so hard. But for the people like she, sometimes you can find some places like.
Yeah, they are very common.
Yeah, we were driving a scooter, and in some places you can really see the people who are wearing some fancy clothes every day because they are believing that this is so.
Just
This is
their
their culture. Yes.
We're going in the north. There's an old capital. It's called Thai, which is full of Buddhist statues. And what you can see immediately once you are in Taiwan is the love for the king and the royal family. There were pictures everywhere on the streets, in people's houses.
At that time, we were in Thailand. Well, we know, maybe we don't know, but last weekend the king, the Rama IX, he died, he passed away. So right now in Thailand there's a there's a black part of time, so they cannot have fun, something like that. But that time we were in Thailand, people love him. They were saying about him only good things. Once we stayed with some family, with some woman who was a king cook. When she was younger, she was cooking for the king and for the queen. And in their home, there was a lot of pictures of king or queen of the royal family. And people they were treating that king, Umidol and his wife as their mother and father. So they were doing some national holidays, like they were celebrating king birthday, they were celebrating queen birthday, they were doing a lot of activities for king and queen. They really loved it.
Thailand food is really famous all over the world, but it was not our favorite.
Yeah, for us it was so good. The Thai food is very spicy, but one thing which is amazing in that country. Yeah, the food is really cheap. So you can buy amazing food, amazing fruit, every kind of food $20. It's the same. 20 baht and $20 is the same. So the food is extremely cheap. And there's one thing about Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, that they have different kind of alphabet. So every country has some differences in the alphabet, but generally for us it's like alphabet.
And about Cambodia, Cambodia was one of the poorest countries we had visited in Asia.
Before we came to Cambodia, we know that Cambodia is very poor. We heard about the Angkor Wat, one of the most famous attractions in the world. And we've heard something about Pol Pot, about Red Khmer Rouge, about Khmer Rouge, right?
So first some pictures of the country.
This is a very interesting thing. How people in Cambodia they get the salt. So they have some salt mines, and well, the salt mines they are just outside, and the sun is shining, and the water is evaporating. Yes, and because of the sun and of the salt water, of the sea salt water, they have the salt. This is very hard to work, but you can see a lot of salt mines everywhere.
And it's for the plantation. Yes, the rural areas of Cambodia are really poor.
And this is a very interesting thing that kind of road without asphalt, without not so strong, not so hard. I think that most of Cambodia's ways they are like that. So only close to the capital, close to Phnom Penh, only close to Siem Reap, to the very famous places, to the very good places. We have a regular road, but in different places there's only 7.
We have really had many of orphaned kids, but we will talk about it next time.
And this is also a fun thing that in Cambodia they have 2 very strong seasons. One season is wet season with a lot of rains, and the second is dry season.
So when it's rainy season, it's really heavy rain, and the rain just takes everything. It just big floods and everything. But when it's dry season, it's really extremely dry.
People in rural areas, they are collecting the water to some big tanks like that. And when the wet season finishes, they are having the water from tanks like that, because in many places they don't have access to the drinking water. They don't have access to the water for the tap.
We were in the dry season, and for example, we could see on the map that there should be a lake, but there's no lake. It's just the lake is not dry.
And we stayed for 2 weeks in one place, but I will talk about that next week. And there was a toilet, there was a bathroom, and in that bathroom there was a big pool. And they had some water there in the pool, but that water was not from a tap, because it was in some small village. They had a hole in the ground. So during the wet season, they have a lot of water there in the pool outside the house. But during the dry season, they need to transfer the water from the hole in the ground outside the house to the toilet, and they are having shower in that water. They're doing everything in that water. They're cooking rice in that water from outside. So you need to clean, for example, you need to brush your teeth in the water, which is when you take that water into the glass, you will see that that water is not clean.
No, the water is here.
And you need to do everything with that water.
There is a really problem with overtaking water,
And there is really problem with the hygienic. And Cambodia is a nice place because you can see some pictures like that. So they are using their scooters, their motorbikes for everything. They are like transporting pigs, animals, and grass.
Once we rented a boat and see a floating village where people basically live their houses on water, on some like a floating So they're just floating on the lake, and then
after you did what you should did in the toilet, you want, for example, you want to take shower, so you are just jumping in the same water where something is.
They use this water for cleaning and drinking in the same time. So they have very short story.
But with the floating villages, they are very normal for them, and they have some pets there, they have some dogs, chicken, everything. They have in many places, in many houses, they have some TV screens, it's like a regular house.
Yeah.
They have flowers, so it's a normal house.
You can really see everything very good. I'm sorry, but is this biggest attraction in Cambodia?
Probably Cambodia is one of the biggest touristic attraction I think in the world. So there's so many people going to Cambodia only for Angkor Wat. And Angkor Wat is really place you need to see. I think more than 800 years ago, around 1,000 years ago, in that place where right now Angkor Wat is, it was a huge country. It was one of the biggest countries. It was one of the most developed countries here in Southeast Asia. They were so powerful that 1,000 years ago, there lived around 1 million people. So there was so many people living there as nowadays in how many people live there? Okay, so but Angkor Wat in the past was so huge, and right now until today, some scientists they really don't know why Angkor Wat just disappeared or just were finished. Yeah, but there's so many
Now
people.
we can just admire for ruins, which are really interesting because for many years they were just left and no one was there. So the nature just.
And they discovered Angkor Wat, I think 50 years ago. So 50 years ago it was discovered, and from around 1965. And I think that the last 20 years is a huge. Last 5-10 years, it's so easy to travel in the world. So last few years, there's so many people right there that every day there's a huge amount of tourists who are going only to Cambodia to see the Angkor Wat, and it's so great.
Cambodia is mostly a Buddhist country. Yeah, they eat fried insects. I think it started during the Khmer Rouge
Yes.
time, where people were dying because of starvation. So they started to eat insects, and well, they keep the tradition till today.
And you can find insects everywhere. But why you want to say something about Pol Pot and Khmer Rouge? There was one guy, Pol Pot, and he wanted to make Cambodia more. He wanted to create a perfect country.
Country with no money and just everybody working in the field. So
So he started to settle people from cities to the rural areas, and he started to do a lot of agricultural things.
So he would take all of the people out of the city and transfer them to some camps
But he
in
knew.
the rural areas and order them to work in a field.
But
So
he.
there was no fraction of money anymore. They were even forbidden to cook by themselves. Everything was common. Everything belonged to everybody. But they could not use it. So for example, they were working on a garden. No, they were working in a garden and they were collecting food, but they couldn't take the food for themselves. They had to give it to the community, and then they all together would eat a meal.
But he knew that the only way to make the perfect country of the workers is to eliminate all of the smart people. So he was killing. He was killing all the smart people. If you were in classes, you are killed. If you are, for example, if you were working in some libraries, if you were working in some administrative places, politics places, you were the first one to be killed. And for example, if you had gentle hands It means that you're not good to work hard.
So
You
you
are
said you
good.
didn't work hard before, so
Yes.
you were working.
So during few years, he and his people, they killed almost half of the population of Cambodia. So this is one of the biggest disasters I think right now in the last 50 years. And after the tragedy, Cambodia is trying to have a still recovery. And people they are saying that Cambodia is a very cool country because of that. People are saying that all of the smart, all of the intelligent people were killed. So no one smart left in Cambodia. So right now they are trying to make the country normal country with everything. And we met few people who needed to escape from Cambodia because they were afraid of being killed. So this is really tragical thing. And in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh, you can see some places with the historical places where you can see how does it look like. So, for example, this is Sapri, and the soldiers they were killing here. They were killing there the small kids. They were
really
They were really
they were doing lots of tortures. We are not going to show the pictures because they are really terrible. They would even show what kind of tortures they were using on totally innocent people, but the tortures were really truly terrible.
For
And they
example,
were killing people with no reason.
if you say something wrong, okay, you are good.
Yeah, for
If
example,
you did something wrong, okay, I
For
will.
example, you have your family, and your family is starving because they could not eat what they wanted. They had no access to money, no access to food. So they were just eating all together, all village in one place. So they would just eat like a little bit of rice. So they were really starving. And so, for example, you are working in this field and you are collecting corn, but you cannot take this corn for your family. You have to give it everything to the soldiers. And if you steal this one corn for your family, which is that, they will not be killed.
And
So
maybe another you, but also a whole family, because you did something wrong, which you shouldn't do. And there are some polls. In many places in Cambodia, you can find after they were killing people, they needed to do something with the bodies. So sometimes they were putting bodies in some holes and they were covering them with one ground. Nothing more. And wait, about that.
So that was just really sad story.
Yeah.
Because you can really feel what you are there, and it's for those people who survived this time. They are still alive. This is just so wrestling that when someone was a
And it was-
teen or teenager,
and it
it's
was-
adult now.
And it was not a long time ago. So this is still freshest, and this is so long.
Okay, and let's go to Vietnam. Vietnam, it was really green country. Like Cambodia was extremely dry. Everything was dry and just red. Here Vietnam, everything was green and just like.
And we could see that, and we could see the difference when we crossed the border with Cambodia and Thailand and Vietnam. Because Cambodia was very good country with everything, with the roads, with the houses.
Yeah, but once you
Once you cross the border and once you get to Vietnam, it was completely different. Everything was more green. Everything was better. Was more beautiful. So. Yeah, in Vietnam you can see in many places Karst Mountains. They are very famous Karst Mountains, and this is one of the funny things that in some places in Vietnam, in some touristic places, you can hire a boat. You can swim in a boat in some river, in some lake. But the people who are swimming the boat, they don't use their hands. They just use their legs. So they are just sitting. They are relaxing themselves, and they are using their legs to swim.
Yeah, that was just interesting. The first time.
It was just interesting. And
Yeah, it was really beautiful landscape.
And one of the most famous attractions of the country is the Halong Bay, because of the Karst Mountains growing up from the sea. place to go back. This place is very beautiful, but in Vietnam you can see many places almost like that, which are not as popular as Halong Bay. So in Halong Bay every day there's huge amount of foreigner people.
But in rural areas, it's still really.
And it's very nice, very interesting that you can, in some places you still can meet some people who are living in houses like that without electricity, without access to fresh water, without cell phones, without Facebook. Can you imagine that? Living without Facebook.
So yeah, the rural areas are still pretty poor, but then some areas like are very modern and just a little bit. We found it really interesting that houses market.
In many places, like the south part of Vietnam, well, Mekong River is very important for them because they are doing everything on that river. They are leaving their partner. They are working on the Mekong River. They are selling some fruits, everything in Mekong River, and Mekong River is very important for them. But yeah, we don't have so much time.
Okay. And then they have the special national park in Vietnam, which has a Hang cave, which is the biggest cave in the world. It was discovered in 1991. However, it is extremely expensive to go there. So this expedition costs $3,000.
If you want to make expedition to the biggest cave in the world, it costs $3,000 American dollar for 7 days. But there is only one company who is doing the expedition. And once we were there in the park, not in the cave, we asked just for curious, is it okay to go to the cave? And they said that for this year, for the next year, and for the half of the 2018, there is no place because this cave is so popular, so interesting.
Just one expedition at a time.
Yes, there's not so many people, but there's so many people who wants to go there, even if this is so extremely expensive that there is no place for that for 2 years.
Okay.
But in that part you can see many
You can see many other beautiful places like this one. It's a paradise.
which are not so expensive. They're cheap.
They have no more price. It's really cool. Yeah, full of Vietnam. They were always smiling.
They're always smiling.
They're really nice. Really genuine. Even if they're really poor. And work very heavy. Pho is the national dish.
Can I say something real quick? And during our travel, we discovered something that in many places, like when we saw some local people, and we are thinking that, oh, they are so poor, they don't have shoes, they don't have, I don't know, cell phones, they don't have fresh water, and we are thinking that it's so sad that they are living in that way. But most of the people, or all of the people, they are happy because happiness is not about that what you have, but happiness is about that what you feel inside maybe. So maybe they don't have a lot of things, but they are more happy than.
I know they are more, but it doesn't mean that
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they are not happy. And this is really good. And pho is the most famous Vietnamese dish, but very interesting thing in Vietnam is that if you are ordering some soup, some kind of food, very often or almost always you will get some plate with fresh leaves. We are eating leaves all the time, and the leaves they are eating, they are so good, they're so tasty that you can eat the leaves only you can eat the leaves only without the lizards.
And what we really like there is because we are used to eating bread, which is pretty hard to find in Asia. However, in Vietnam and in Cambodia, because they were French colony, they do very good baguettes. So it's very common to buy the regular sandwich, which they people eat for
Laos, one very interesting thing about Laos is that, of course, when people are thinking about Laos, they are thinking about Luang Prabang, about Vietnam, about Mons, but in fact Laos is the most bombed country in the world. And during 9 years, the US, their planes, they had a lot of missions. They were flying from Thailand to China to Vietnam, everywhere. And sometimes when they were going back to their bases, and they still have some bombs, they needed to left their bombs somewhere.
So imagine, for example, they
So
have
they
a
were-
mission. They have a mission to throw bomb in Vietnam because they had a war in Vietnam, but they didn't complete it. So they were going back to their
To their base.
space,
And
but
before-
there was bombs on
yeah.
the plane, which they cannot land with the bombs in their
So they
plane.
need
So
to
they have
leave their bombs somewhere.
So
they were
they would just drop it in Laos.
So
which
they
is
were
totally
dropping
useless
all the
country.
bombs in Laos.
Yeah.
And let's go
So
to the next one.
you wrote here that.
And it's hard to imagine how much does this, but it says that during the Second World War in Europe, we had less bombs than Laos through 9 years here, only Laos. So Laos is the most
And
bombed,
it says here that.
and they were dropping bombs all the time.
580,000.
Yeah, they were dropping bombs all the time. So
So
Laos is
You get to do it.
okay. We can do it.
Yeah.
But let's go to the other. Oh, and you can see there's some areas like the red one here. There are some places where bombs
可是
were
我不是这
dropped.
堂课，我是来听他们
So
讲这个
it's so hard to imagine. And in many places you can see some bomb crater. So some holes in the ground which were made during the bomb dropping from 64 to 73. And many places you can see in front of shops, in front of houses, bombs like that. And this is very big, very hard, it's very bad situation for the local people because the local people still they have a lot of bombs everywhere. So every day in Laos people are dying because of the bombs which are waiting in the ground. And they just want to work. They are doing some work in the ground, they are doing some work in the agriculture.
On your field, and then you don't know that there's a bomb. It was dropped 20 years ago, so suddenly the bomb exploded.
And right now, nowadays, there's so many agencies in Laos which are discovering, which are collecting the bombs from everywhere.
But there's so many.
But there's so many bombs still, there's so many active bombs there in Laos that Laos is, because of the bombs, Laos is a very unsafe place for the Laotian people.
Yeah, you just can't go wherever.
Yeah, you cannot go wherever you want.
However, it's really poor country, but it's really beautiful as well. They would have many of those bamboo bridges, which they make by themselves. Basically, every dry season they make this bamboo bridge in different areas, and then when the rainy season comes, the water runs and it takes the bridge away. So they have to do it again next year. Yeah, some rural areas. And then,
This is one thing because
every village
has, for example,
has
has only one shower like this, and the local people they can use that shower every day. So during the evening time, you will see a lot of people standing in a line, and they will wait for the access to the water. So they will wait to have shower. And
So
then
there's
they,
just one shower like that for the whole village, and it's common.
and they are doing everything here. So they are doing their washes, they are doing everything. So many times when we were traveling in Laos, we could see people waiting in a line for the shower. And they have showers in front of everybody. So there is no special cabin. They're using their salon. Some special process.
Okay, and
Luang Prabang is a very beautiful old capital of Laos with many temples.
then there are many boxes as well, collect only books.
But yeah, we can skip Japan because Japan is very close to
We can say this time.
If you have any questions
If you
about
have
that,
any questions,
about the different cultures of the to travel cheap, because we were traveling for 1 year, and we were trying to travel very cheap. We didn't have a lot of money for the travel, so we are going to share with you some traveling experience.
How anybody.
And we can say some interesting facts about travel, about stuff like that. And it will be the next week. And in 2 weeks, I can make a presentation about differences between Poland, our country, and Taiwan. What is normal in Poland, which is not normal